Hello everybody and welcome to another Mystery Box Function Challenge. In the purple box there is some mystery math and your challenge is to figure out what it is. You can use the link in the description to try this out, and when you think you've got an idea, come on back and see if we get the same thing. Alright, I'm going to start with a 0. Okay, so 0 gives a 0. How about a 1? So I recognize that decimal, 1.4142. That is the square root of 2. So somehow 1 gives us the square root of 2. Let's keep going. Let's try a 2. Oh, 2 gives us 2. Okay, I think I may have an idea. Let's put in, well, let's see. I'll just put in a 3 to continue the curve here. But then I think I want to put in an 8. An 8 gave us 4. Okay, that's helpful, actually. And I think we're going to get not a number when we try the negatives, because I think we're dealing with a square root function. So let's try a -1. Yes, not a number. How about a -7? Not a number. Okay, so this is looking very much like a square root curve, except it's a little steep. So that would lead us to think there's a multiplier. And usually the way we deal with that is we put a multiplier outside the radical sign, and then on the inside we have our x. Maybe there's other stuff going on in there for some functions like this. Actually, I'm going to try to write that a little more clearly. So f of x equals radical sign, and then here I'd put an x, right? If it was moved over, I might put a plus or a minus some number here. If it was reflected, I might put a negative sign inside or outside, depending on which way it's been reflected. But here we've got none of that. It's centered here. That starts here at the origin at 0, 0. So there's no moving it to the left or right or up or down. And the only thing that's been done, it seems, is that when we put in a 1, we get the result we'd expect for 2. When we put in a 2, we get the result we'd expect for 4, because the square root of 4 is 2, and we're getting that when we put in 2. So what I think is happening, actually, is that we're doubling the x before we take the square root. Now, if you wanted to put a multiplier outside the radical instead of that, this is the same as the square root of 2 times the square root of x. But I think this is a neater way to write it. So I think that's what the answer is. Let me take a look here. And I verified this by putting in an 8. So 8 times 2 is 16. Square root of 16 is 4. So I think we've got this. Let's take a look. Yeah, there it is, the square root of 2x, and we can graph that as well. We get that nice tapering curve of the square root function, just a little taller, a little steeper than normal because of that multiplier inside the radical sign. Well, how did that go for you? Did you think square root? Let me know. Thanks, everybody.